All rise for the Honorable Judge Judy. You may now be seated.
I want to order in my court. Silence. Silence. First off, we're going to go over the case. It seems that the allegation is that a certain female by the name of Rosa Parks was sitting on the front of the bus, she being a colored African-American woman, and she was sitting in the white section at the front of the bus, and we are going over whether that's morally constitutional or not. So we're going to call up our first testimony, which will be Mary Fair Burks, who was sitting at the back of the bus during the time of the scene of the incident. Mary Fair Burks, please rise.
You may come forward. Please place your hand on top of you. Do you swear the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God?
I swear.
You may talk to Judge Judy.
Thank you. Okay, first off, we would like to hear from your words. What happened at the scene of the event? And so just, explain from there, I guess.
Well, thank you, Your Honor. Well, I was sitting in the back of the bus that day, and Rosa was up front, and she was very calm, and she stayed in her seat. Despite the bus driver's order to go to the back, she was very respectful and did not argue and did not say anything. She simply just sat there. So the bus driver then called the police to take her away, which, in my opinion, is very wrong.
Was he brutal when he was taking her away?
Yes, he yanked her up, put her hands behind her back, swung her out, and yeah.
The police report I have here says that the police officer says that he was very calm and like pulled her away, but he was very respectful about it. Do you believe that that was the truth?
No, Your Honor. You could ask me and a lot of other witnesses on the bus. That is not what happened. They yanked her out of the seat and threw her off the bus.
Okay. And you feel that she did not deserve that punishment?
Yes, Your Honor. She should not be punished for her actions that day.
I see. Next, we'd like to go over what you believe should be the final judgment of this case and why you feel that way.
I feel that she should not have been in trouble in the first place, and that she should be not guilty for her actions, and that the buses need, be separated.
On a more broad note, do you believe that new legislation should be created that that allows less segregation on public transportation, such as the buses, in which Rosa Parks was committed this crime on?
Yes, Your Honor. I think less segregation needs to occur all throughout our great country. Blacks, whites, people of any color are all equal, and they should all have the same rights in this free country.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Burks. You may take your seat.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next, we are going to call forth the next. Mr. King, do you admit to boycotting the Montgomery bus systems after you heard about what happened to Rosa Parks and the situation on the bus?
Yes, I admit I have and still am participating in the boycott of the Montgomery bus systems. I believe racial segregation must come to an end, Your Honor.
Do you believe that Ms. Parks did what was morally right based on her situation, even though blacks are technically supposed to sit in the back of the bus?
Yes, I do believe that she did what was right. She was taking a stand to show that all persons are equal and that there should be no separation due to the color of your skin.
Thank you for sharing, Mr. King. You may take a seat. I now need a local citizen who saw the incident to come forward, please.
I volunteer, ma'am. I'm a pastor that saw the entire event.
Would you please put your hand on top of you? Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God?
I do solemnly swear.
You may go talk to Judge Judy.
I presume. Very well. How do you feel about this occurrence?
I must say that I feel Rosa Parks did the right thing. I believe God is the only one who can testify in this case.
Proceed.
Did he not make all men equal? And in our Constitution, our founding fathers clearly stated that men were entitled to the same rights. I think we need to take this matter into further consideration.
So are you telling me the bus systems should put away the whole segregation shebang and just start letting everybody sit on the buses together like some old, like we're all just friends? Even the blacks and the whites and everyone? Does that not even matter?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I believe that race should not allow one person to believe they are inferior to another due to their skin color, their culture, or their religion.
Well, I guess that's our case then, isn't it? How far are we willing to go to pursue racial segregation? Alright, our next testimony is going to be from the accused. I'd like to now call forth Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks, please stand.
Please place your hand on right here. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God?
I do.
You may talk to Judge Judy.
Mrs. Parks, how are you doing today?
How you doing today, Judge?
Excellent, if I do say so myself. How about yourself?
I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. First, we'd like to get the, find out what happened from your opinion.
Well, I work a very hard job. I work 12 hours a day. I got on the bus because my feet were tired. I was ready to go home and cook some dinner for my family. I sat on the bus and there was no more seats in the back, so I sat in the front. When I sat in the front, this white lady gets on the bus and expects me to move for her. She's younger than me. And when I'm grown up, the elderly sit where they want first. Now, I was sitting on the bus and this young white lady went to tell the bus driver that I need to move. And I said, man,
You did all this knowing that the law said that you could not sit in the front of the bus.
Oh, why, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I did. Because I knew I was tired, my feet were tired, so I was going to sit where I felt like sitting. So she called the cops, and the cops came, and I did not put up a fight. He was very rough for me, and so now I'm here.
I'm sorry you had to go through all that, Miss Parks, but you should have known that the law stated that you could not sit in the front of the bus, whether that made sense to you or not. It is something that you cannot do because you went against the law in doing so. Do you understand?
Ma'am, I do understand, but what I'm trying to say is I've been working a long, hard day.
That's the thing. This is about the law. This isn't about what you're trying to say. This is a court of the law. This is the justice system. This is the United States government. The United States government says that blacks sit in the back of the bus, whether you want that to be so or not. Do you understand that?
Madam, what I'm saying is I believe that I should be able to sit where I want to on the bus, ma'am. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Segregation is tearing up America.
So what do you expect from this? What do you want to happen, Ms. Parks?
I want my people, my colored people, to be able to sit wherever they feel like on the bus, Your Honor.
So you're suggesting that we just throw segregation right out the window?
Exactly, Your Honor.
I think, Rosa Parks, I think that's draw the end of the testimony for you today. You may take a seat.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Call forth the next testimony. Will the officer who had arrested Rosa Parks on the bus that day please rise? Officer Day, please rise.
You may step forward. Please place your hand here. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God?
Yes, ma'am.
You may talk to Judge Judy.
Officer Day,
That's my name.
we would like to hear about what happened from your perspective on the bus that day.
Okay, yes, Your Honor. Well, me and my fellow colleague, Officer Mason, reported to a call made by bus driver Joseph Blake, and we reached the bus, we got on, and there was this black lady, Rosa, who was sitting there in a white person section, and white people needed to be seated, and she refused to give up her seat, so we had to arrest her and take her down to the county jail.
Did you use more physical, how should I say this? Did you use more physical force than necessary to apprehend the suspect?
I wouldn't say more physical force, but
He's a liar! He's a liar!
Order in my court!
I saw him use it!
Order in my
I saw him
court!
use it!
Bailiff, if that happens again, escort her out of the courtroom.
as we were saying, Your Honor, like I said, we didn't use much physical force, but she was not cooperating, so we had to take her out of the jail, or I'm sorry, we had to take her out of the bus, and, you know, yeah, we took her out of the bus and
I understand, officer. As the law states,
I don't see what the point we're doing here.
I understand, officer. As the law suggests, a black woman should not have been sitting in front of that bus that day. That should not have happened.
We were
So,
fighting the law.
how was she? What was her reaction to your force?
She was just sitting there, not talking, and you know, as an officer, the citizens need to listen to you and abide by your orders.
I understand.
And she was not, so that's what caused it.
I completely understand, officer. I believe that's all I need to hear from you today. You may rise and go take a seat.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let me catch you in the streets.
Silence!
Sorry, Your Honor.
Bailiff, once again.
Yes, Your Honor.
Rosa Parks, please stand. The jury has found you guilty, and you will pay a fine of $346.
What? $346? Are you crazy?
Silence. You've been found guilty on the grounds that whether or not it was politically correct to have you move to the back of the bus for the white citizens, the law at the time of the event stated that it was illegal, that there was segregation on the bus, so you were not allowed to sit in a white person's seat when they told you to move. So whether or not it's morally correct, the law states that, and the jury has come to agreement with the Constitution, and we have to follow through with these laws, so you've been found guilty. And this court is adjourned.
Rosa Parks' trial lasted only 30 minutes, and she was found guilty in order to pay a fine. The case was appealed, and during the appeal, the boycott of the Montgomery public transit system continued for over a year. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. led the boycott, and his leadership propelled him to the forefront of the civil rights movement, which had finally begun to receive publicity and national attention since the arrest of Mrs. Parks. On December 21, 1956, the United States Supreme Court ruled that segregation on public transit was illegal.